my friends, I hope you're very well. I hope you're having a very nice day. Today, as you can see in the title, we're going to start a new mini pond. And you can see that I'm using the exact same container that I've used previously for the little pond that you've seen in my channel before. And over here you can see that I've collected a couple of rocks. These are not supposed to be, showing in the final design. Maybe some of them, like the prettier ones, like this one, very soft one, or this one like a bluish volcanic rock, this one over here too. But mainly these are going to be used, for example, this piece of brick over here, or this one over here, they're going to be used to create sort of like a barrier. Remember that in my previous build, I had a part of the build that's immersed, and this is going to be particularly important for this particular build, because remember, I'm going to be using a little Montezuma cypress cutting that I rooted a couple of months ago, maybe weeks ago. Yeah, so it's going to be really important for the design to use these little pieces of brick and rock to create that barrier, just as I did with the previous one. Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. And the first step, I have the gardening soil over here, the substrate. The lower layer of the substrate is going to be very high in nutrients and organic matter, so the plants, the aquatic plants that I'm going to put in here can thrive. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put the first layer in, and then we can start taking off from there. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. So over here we have like the first layer in, and you can see how black and rich in nutrients this gardening soil is. It's a bit wet because we've been having rain the past couple of weeks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start evening it out and breaking up big chunks, removing sticks that you might find here. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for the first layer. Yeah. Now for the second layer, let me show you something really quick. I'm going to be using this clean in-earth construction sand. I guess this could be a very bad idea if you didn't know where your sand is coming from. If you're buying, I don't know, from a big chain construction store or DIY store, but if you know where it comes from and you 100% know that it's completely free of any kind of additives, it's perfect. It's perfectly usable, even if you buy it at a construction store. This is just river sand that's taken from a local river where I live, and it doesn't have any nutrients or anything, so that's why I can use it. If you prefer to use lava rock, aquarium gravel, or anything that's available where you live, you can go ahead and do that. Yeah, I'm going to cover this completely, and then we're going to continue with the rocks. So there we go. I just make quick work of that, and now, like I was saying, we're going to proceed and make like the barrier, right, for this build. So what I'm doing here is trying to find a nice flat side of the rocks that I'm going to be using, so that I can use them as blocks to construct this little island. And you can see that some of them are, naturally shaped like that. So that's great. This one, sometimes I do this on camera without thinking that much, and you go on to the next shot and you see something completely different. It's just because I thought things better, and I made some changes off camera. Yeah, so I think that's it. pretty much it. Now maybe we can add little stones there. This is basically going to be like a, maybe we can move this, like a containing wall of sorts. Yeah. Maybe you see this in commercial ponds, mini ponds or indoor ponds that you buy. This is something that it's used, you know, frequently. But you know, you can buy ponds that already have like a plastic, you know, like a plastic shape over here, containing like nutrients here or plants here, and then the rest is going to be like completely submerged. Yeah, that's you know, typical. So I'm also going to add soil over here, gardening soil over there, and then I'm going to cover the whole thing with sand. Yeah, so much so that this is going to be completely filled to the brim, at least from this side, with sand, and all of the other areas in the container are going to be filled with water. Yeah, some of the areas are going to be deeper, some of the areas are going to be shallower, but basically this is going to be completely submerged. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to add the gardening soil and then we continue. Yeah, there we go. And now I'm going to cover this with the same construction sand that I was using for the second layer. Yeah, there we go. Little chunk there. Make sure to fill everything nicely with sand so everything can stay isolated from the water column, semi-isolated from the water column, and we don't get a huge amount of algae. This is bound to have algae, you know, like it's almost impossible to keep them at bay, but once the plants start growing it will be less and less noticeable until you get crystal clear water. Yeah. So there we go. That's pretty much it for the structure of the pond. Yeah. Just come in and do this. And then we can also cover this outer edge. This sand is gonna go in the crevices and all of the little cracks where we need it, and it's gonna wash off to this section. We're gonna keep the aquatic plants. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. And then this side, I think it's going to be very nice to have nicer looking rocks like that one. Maybe little rocks in an upright position like this, so it looks natural. Yeah. And over here another one like this. Yeah, looks cool. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the rock, soil and sand part. So now let's go ahead and do some planning. Yeah, so I'm gonna pause the camera, take this worm to its final location, you know, so it's gonna be super heavy if I filled this and then I try to move it. So I'm gonna take this to its final location and then we continue over there. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. So here you are. I've got it conveniently placed right next to my first little pond over here, and we can see that here we have the cutting that was rooted. Yeah, so this is going to take center stage here. This is going to be planted over here. Yeah, the roots going down into the substrate, and also we can see that we got all of the plants that we're going to be using. I will quickly give you a rundown of all the plants. It's Sagittaria, Eliocharis, hair grass. You can see there the Montevidensis variety. I'm not sure. Iliocaris parvula and Iliocaris montevidensis, I think. We've also got some hygrophila over there. That little water lily, which is Nymphaya indica, something like that. Maybe I'll put the names in the description box, but you can see that I've got the plants already placed where I want them, and now it's just a matter of coming in and planting. Yeah. So this video is going to be a bit long, but I'm just going to plant this, and then I will show you what it looks like when it's planted. And the last step would be to fill this guy up. Yeah. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then I'll show you the final result. Here we go. So here we are. You know, the little Montezuma cypress cutting has been planted, and all of the little aquarium plants have also been planted. Yeah. So you can see that eventually, you know, very, very fast actually, these plants are very vigorous. You know, look, this is a very good example. This is Sagittaria. You just come in, you press down with your finger, and there, it's planted. So it's super easy. So this eventually is going to be very, very cool. Once the little plants grow, we can see the Bacopa over here, and of course the Montezuma cypress planted in the middle. So I expect this to grow in very, very nicely in the next couple of weeks, and I'll show you the process. The last step for this little build will be to fill it up with water. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, I just realized that I was trying to use one of these, but it was all holed up because I was using it as a little pot. And you know, I add little holes for the substrate, so that's the noise that you just heard. So we come in and fill this up carefully. I'm using rainwater, but you know, pretty much any water from the tap will be good too, because you know, we don't have any livestock, and the plants, you know, they break down all of the substances that you might get in the tap water. So we continue to do that. Yeah, it looks a bit foamy, a bit weird at the moment. I'm going to continue to do that. 1 second. And we continue to do that really carefully, so as not to disturb the sand. This little guy will be done. Yeah. So let's see a final shot of that. Here we go. So right now it looks a bit horrible. It looks like swamp water, but come to think of it, this is similar to a swamp. Yeah, we can see that some of the parts over there are clear. We can see that the little guy has been planted. Yeah. So in a couple of days this will look really, really good. In fact, let me just wait a couple of hours, or you know, a couple of moments to see if it clears out a little bit, and then we come back and yeah, we say goodbye. So here we are. This is the next day. You can see the water is cleared a lot. It's cleared up quite a bit, but you can't see the bottom yet over here. Let me see if I can maybe, yeah, there's the bottom. All the little plants have been planted, and this is like the surface part, or the shallow part of the build. Yeah. And we can see that our little guy is right there. And these little shoots have been starting to go up. Sorry, you can see that there's a couple of papyri here. So yeah, you know, in a couple of weeks this is going to be completely overrun with aquatic plants. And the next step for this one, and this one too in the future, would be to add a little bit of livestock, you know, a couple of fish here and there. You know, it's perfectly okay to do that, as long as you keep some concepts in mind, you know, chlorine in the water, and you know, how much sunlight it gets, so the water doesn't get super hot and it kills the fish or whatever you put in here. But yeah, that's the next step, and of course I will take you along for the process. So anyway, super easy builds, and these look really cool. If you have a pet, sometimes they come here. I have a cat, for example, and she loves drinking water out of the little ponds instead of the little bowl that she has, and so yeah, it's something that's quite enjoyable. You can find little surprises like these. So yeah, I would, if you really like ponds and maybe you don't have enough land, or you want to try your you know, how you do keeping one, this is a very good starting point. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you have any comments, doubts, questions, anything, drop them down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.